Hey everybody, it's Marty the JavaScript Party and my buddy Rhett. We just got done with our 3JS video. That is coming along nicely, and it is 1 o'clock now. So we did that for about an hour. Rhett got real loud. I had to do it in two parts, and she was so loud in the first part, and then she kind of settled down, and then she was pretty quiet in the second part, and then we kind of watched it. I did some flashcards, and now for my paralegal, and then we moved away from. I mean, in that, and now we're in this one, and she's getting kind of loud, not as loud as she was last time. But yeah, one thing I noticed, my wife does a show on TikTok, and she there's like a delay, like a 1 minute delay, and so a lot of times Rhett will be out in the living room, she'll make a loud noise, and it gets picked up on TikTok downstairs, and then I'll have TikTok running in my office in here, and about I don't know 2 to 4 seconds later, she'll hear herself, which then she responds to herself, and then a couple seconds later, it comes back to her again. And she'll just get louder and louder, and she's just out there in the living room, just all by herself, just making all kinds of noise. It's so fun. But anyways, we're in a great spot in this application. We can add any language we want and play around with it and experiment, which is neat and powerful. And I don't know any other time in history that I've had this kind of power. I'm the master of languages in the browser. But that is cool. Rhett, that's cool. But anyways, I do want to check this code in and then add some more languages. And I don't know what language I want to add. Um, I guess it would be fun to add Russian because you hear Russian a lot, and it would be fun to add like some sort of like American, Native American language and something like that. So that all would be fun. But for now, I think it'd be good. This would be a good point to do a commit. So before I do my commit in this, since I'm not doing unit tests or anything in this one, I'm just going to go through and just make sure there's nothing silly in there. I think that looks good. Just basically looking for console logs that I don't want to get into production. Probably don't want that extra line. It doesn't bother me, but I've worked in so many places where that kind of thing just triggers people. So I am sensitive to their triggering. They while I do not have an issue with being triggered, um, I do have an issue with seeing people or with being around people who are triggered. So now I have like kind of their whatever their issue is by proxy. So that all looks good. And basically all it did was I guess all I did in this was it's kind of wild. I don't do I use language item? Kind of acts like I don't even use language item. And then what I don't okay, so I don't use language item there. I don't really remember what that was all about. Okay, so let's just see if I use it anywhere. Let's go back in. Since I created it in this one, okay, so there's language item. Looks like I do use it here. I don't really see where I use it though. Supported language, language map. Do I use this? Did I just create a whole type and never ever use it anywhere? I mean, it's very possible I did that. No, there it is in my language mat and over here. So it is weird that in. Oh no, this is a service. That's not weird. There's nothing weird about that. I thought this was a component. That would be weird if I only used it inside the component. But I don't think there's anything unusual or weird about that. So I think this all looks good. It looks like all I did was add the names in the drop down and um, in the results. So it just adds labels. So let's see, was that it, or did I also add some languages? I felt like I added languages too. Yeah. So it looks like I added languages and labels. So I'm just gonna say that get status, get add dot. I feel like I'm in a good. Oh, let me see what I did in packages. Okay, yeah, that's just creating the interface. I feel like I'm in a good spot whenever I can do get add dot. And I think it's kind of a not a good thing, not necessarily a bad thing, but not a good thing if you can't do a get add because you have a bunch of local setup things that are just done for you locally so that your stuff works locally at work. If your stuff works, if you have to do a bunch of weird configurations locally, you may have always done that your whole life. So I think it might make sense, but but it doesn't because there are places where they never have to do that. They have all their configurations set up and everything just works, and that generally that's a good sign if a place is like that. It is not typical, that's for sure, but commit dash m. It's kind of like when like it, and just because you don't have to do that locally doesn't mean that you're in a good place. But I do think that because you have to do it locally, um, so just forcing your team or whatever to have everything working locally without having to tweak things doesn't guarantee that you're good. It's more like if you're good, you'll make sure that everything is works locally as well, without tweaking stuff, so you don't have to do a bunch of weird commits where you skip certain things and stuff like that. So git commit m adds adds languages and labels. So I feel like this part is like prime time. I mean, I think it is good, useful stuff. All right, so okay, so what is next? Okay, so basically at this point I want to add a language, and Russian. I want to add Russian, and I want to say how do you, and then I want to try to say hello in Russian and see what I get. Um, so ChatGPT is by far like this is where it really excels. Although you do have to make sure, like it may make up a language. Um, uh, so I don't know what the word is. I need to learn the language. Um, so let me see. What is okay? Language locale code. Um, so is the language. So this is gonna be interesting because I don't know if like we have like all these different versions of um, but is there locales for Russian as well? Are you so Russia? So just one cal for Russian. Okay, so Russian RU. Oh, so Ukraine has its own version. Belarus has its own. Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, and Moldova. And currency format, date, locale. Interesting. Okay. Which one works for Moscow? Okay, so that makes sense. That's what I would have guessed, but can't really assume anything. So it's Russian. Are you and are you in Russian Russia? Is there a greeting in Russian that aligns, I don't know if aligns is the right word, with hello in English? What is that story? Oh my god. This is a formal or polite used with what it means be healthy. Be healthy. Wow, that's so freaking cool. Um, Informal versions, Privet. So pronounce Zastroite. Za. Okay, so let's just try that. Okay, so Za. I think this is saying Zdra Stoy T. Stavoy T. Zada Stravoy T. So let's move this over here. Let's go over here. Let's set our language. Russian. So I honestly don't know what I don't know here. Who the heck knows what kind of weird stuff might come out, but we're just going to try first blind and then maybe do a bit of research on how to pronounce something like this. Maybe try playing it in the browser somewhere and then having it listen. But anyways, Zadra Stavoy Te. Tie. Zadra Stavoy Tie. Zada Stavoy Tie. Okay. That's weird. It didn't let me. Zadra. Okay, because when I paused, it. Okay, so I obviously said that wrong, and it thinks I said the or the dar or the with that. So what is the in Russian? Is the a word in Russian? We'll see what I accidentally said. Nope. Nope. Not a word in Russian. Why? Okay. Okay, okay. So let's do this. let's just grab this. Let's go into our browser. Hopefully we don't end up on some kind of list with the NSA or whatever for looking up words. So that's nice, Google. That's super nice. And they say that's hello. Okay, now I have to try the other one too. I swear, I'm such a nerd. Okay, what about this? Let's see what it gives us for a word. Squirrel. Oh, hello. Okay. Privet is probably easier. Let's try that. Oh, oops. Privet. I think that's right. Yeah. That's awesome. Okay, so that one I said right, but the other one, well, let's try that. Oh, what did it give me for a percentage? 93%. It had 2. It thinks I might have said that. So let's click this and see what it thinks. But it says 0% chance that I said that, which is weird. What is this in English? This is so fun. Oh. Hi. So that is, it's a deliberate misspelling. So so it's kind of like ours where it gives us a whole bunch of different words for what, it has all these weird spellings and stuff. As a human in Russia, particularly in the 2000s, character human says instead of. Oh my gosh, that is so funny. So there's a cat meme that says it that way. Okay. Ah, so fun. All right, so now let's see how you're supposed to say this.
Здравствуйте.
Oh my god. Zatstroita. Zatstroita. Zatstroita.
Здравствуйте.
Zat. Man, Zatstroita.
Здравствуйте.
Stratoita. Yeah, I'm effing that up. I apologize. If you are Russian, I am not purposely screwing up your language, I promise. I'm going to try this.
Здравствуйте.
I need like...
Здравствуйте.
Okay, so it did get that right, and it gave it a 93%, but it had 2. So I'm guessing that one is also some sort of playful thing. So it says that it is a misspelling, a common misspelling. My browser with the voice API. Spelling. Not standard, okay. Okay, so I found that word. heard hard pronunciate. Zoo. D and dog. Rolled R. Oh, so P is a rolled R. 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 Car. V is in victory. C is S as in C. T is in time. So let's try this again.
Здравствуйте.
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 Здравствуйте. Здравствуйте. Is that right? No. I don't know what the hell I just said. Oh, no, maybe. ZAP. Oh, no, that is right. I'm the master of the universe. So, anyways, Zra. Okay, so that helped a lot, actually. Once I saw that this is rolling an R like in Spanish. Zra. Zdravstvuyte. I did not catch that that was a R rolling. This little P thing. Although it is weird because what the heck is that? This is not the same word. Oh, wait. Oh, and it gave me 9 possible alternatives. Okay, I think I may have. Okay, so this guy right here is the actual. What is this? What is this? So this says 93% chance I said whatever that is. So I'm not the master of the universe. That's what it says. You said tomorrow when I was trying to say hello. So I'm like wandering up to someone and going, tomorrow. And they're like, why not just say Privet? So, but it did say, it did give me, so to pronounce and see. But the voice recognition said it thought I said. So it looks like I got the very first letter right. The 3. Especially the 3 and following. To help recognition pick up, start by slowing down the pronunciation, focusing on this distinct sound, emphasize the V sound, and roll the R in the middle of the word. This will make it more recognizable then. So, as a combination of this tool and ChatGPT, I feel like that is insanely powerful, like an incredibly powerful application for learning languages. Being able to hop back and forth and say, oh, okay, and practice it and try. Now, it would be nice if this, so like it says, it's 93% sure that I said tomorrow, but that it is possible that I said this. What is it? So it's also possible that I said thinks I might be trying to build something. Construction or development. Urban development. Oh, tomorrow again. This tomorrow. You're just going up saying this tomorrow. That means tomorrow too. That is so fascinating. Then I feel like, oh, this is that alternate misspelling of hello, the formal hello. Yeah. And then breakfast. I wonder how Russian breakfasts are. Breakfast. So I could go up to someone trying to say hello and they might hand me, well, if we're in the United States, they might hand me an egg or something. Something we would eat for breakfast. Tomorrow again. Um, Now Russia just seems cold to me. I don't know if it is. It probably isn't all cold. Buckwheat Somalia, so oatmeal and buckwheat porridge, thin pancakes. Mmm, that sounds good. I like cottage cheese. I did not like it. Oh, with honeys, berries, or fruit. Yeah, that would be. Yeah, if I went up and said hello to somebody and they handed me this TBOPOR stuff, I would be very happy. Cottage cheese pancakes? Man, that sounds amazing. I've never even heard of that before. Eggs, okay. Stir fried, scrambled, or boiled. So, anyways, that's awesome, Blossom. I'm really happy with that experience that I got to have with my tool. Um, I think it was just so easy and it showed up, and I'm very, very pleased with this tool. I mean, it's been a lot of work. I think this, yeah, like 87 videos to get here. Um, but I think it was well worth it. I love this thing. I think this is awesome. Um, okay, I'm curious. What was the other? I think it was Privet. Um, so do Americans usually just say Privet instead? Instead of it is informal. Use it. So that would be kind of a bummer because I don't think we don't really do that here. But maybe they don't do it through, maybe in my social group in here in the US we don't do that, but maybe in other places you don't just say hi or hello to just anybody. Um, um, so considered rude to say privet in a formal setting if you are a foreigner. Yes, using privet in a foreign language could be considered rude or disrespectful, even if you are a former while Russians may understand that you're a language and might not expect you to know all the formalities. So you would get away because you don't understand the formalities, not because it's hard to pronounce. Due to know formalities in a professional or formal context, like when you're meeting someone older or a colleague and or a stranger, is typically not appropriate. Yeah, so they probably just wouldn't get that it's hard, very, very difficult for an American to pronounce that. So like yeah, so yeah. So one last time.
Здравствуйте.
Здравствуйте, здравствуйте, здравствуйте. Okay, so last time I think that happened, and then when I clicked later, so it looks like I nailed it that time. Здравствуйте. What is this? What is this over here? Man, those dudes look like badasses. I wonder what that is. Anyways, so yeah, this is awesome. Well, let's go ahead and commit this just so you have like sort of an example commit where you just add a new adds Russian language. I feel like I learned so much today, and I'm just so grateful for this application because it just like it just really broadened my horizons, and that I think that's what a good application does is it broadens your horizons. And I mean, it kind of led me that along with ChatGPT sort of led me in to have a better understanding of what I'm up against trying to learn Russian. I do want to do this for at least a little bit longer, for maybe 2 or 3 more weeks, maybe just two more weeks of just like adding a language and playing around with it. I don't know what would be a good like what would be a good fun language. What would be a fun language? Possibly a Native American language. American language to play with in my voice API application. Unique system of verbs. Fun element with many nasal sounds and complex verb forms. It also has a rich tradition of code talking, which makes it it is. Yeah, I've heard that. Yeah. Good morning, Cherokee. Oklahoma. The language has a unique syllabi rather than the alphabet, which could provide an interesting challenge for text. Has its own script. Working with the voice API could involve both phonic pronunciation and visual elements. Oh, because they have their own little Lakota. Hopi. Okay, so what's the fun element? Language has a beautiful flow. So that one sounds like that one might be fun to play with. Hopi. Fun element has a rhythmic melodious sound. See, I love languages that have rhythmic melodious sounds. It's very descriptive in its use of the word synthesis. Hello. is indigenous. I spoke in the Andes. Phonic diversity. I think I'm gonna try Lakota, right? Because it was the yeah. I think I want to try that one. So what is the what is it called again? That was the very beginning of this thing. Oh, I wish I'd just done this one in its own little thing. What was that called again? Oh gosh, locale for Lakota. Currently, there's no official locale for Lakota. It's standards. The Lakota is included in internet for locales, which tends to focus on widely spoken. Oh, gosh darn it. So, are there any Native American? So that's an interesting thing to know, and we just leveled up there. Because like someone may be like, oh, okay, yeah, no, I saw this cool video, this guy building this thing, and his voice, and we'll do it with this Indian, Native American language, and you can't because it doesn't actually have a locale. Hmm, that's a bummer. So it doesn't. In context of the Navajo, however, it's not widely. However, there are some languages that have made strides in localization and digital. Here are a few examples. So I'm on Windows. Hawaiian? Oh, that's fun. Um, okay, so code. Man, I thought this was going to be so simple. Mm. So let me see how mine is, because I don't think I can just. Mine is, yeah. So this is where, like, who knows? Who knows if it would work? But let's just see. Um, dot language. Where do I use these? So I need to go to my service. Gosh, I thought I was um, signing off. Sorry. Let's go into this view here. Where do I use that? It's like I create a. recognition constructor. Here's where I kind of set things up. And then there's a point where I set it, right? Discrete logic record. So this recognition set. Okay, dot lang. Is that showing? So I do dot lang, which I don't think. I think all I do is. Let's see, this recognition. Recognition. See, now I've abstracted a bunch of stuff, so I can't even like just paste it into. Okay, so for this. So can I use it like in this? Recognize this. Okay. So okay. Equals. What was it? It was CHR. CHR. Yeah, so that's a bummer. And this is probably like one of those things where so easy pronounce supported language. That's a bummer. I was hoping to get to play with like Navajo or something. Spanish, French. German. German might be fun. I think German just sounds so. See, Japanese sounds very masculine to me. I think. That's my opinion. Is that um, is there something more exotic? Is there something more Hindi? I bet that would be fun. Mandarin Chinese, Korean. I like the way Korean sounds a lot. And I don't know why, but okay, so Korean kind of goes two ways. Like when I hear a Korean person speaking in English, and it's either extraordinarily nasally, which I don't really like, or it's very not nasally. And I think it might be the Korean people who learn England English. They talk like, well, I think, and they're like talking from the top here, and it just sounds really nice. Arabic, Turkish. I like the way Turkish sounds. I love the way Welsh sounds. I forgot about Welsh. I think Welsh might be the one I want to play with. Welsh. Yeah. We were in Ireland once. I loved listening to a lot of people talk, but they loved listening to us talk, and they would actually call us out for living in Georgia in the United States. They'd be like, "Oh, you're from Georgia." It was so wild. I had like the funnest time, and we were in an Irish castle, and they were very, very confused about the phrase "bless her heart," or "bless his heart." Oh, bless your heart, and they just didn't understand it. They were like, "I don't get it. I've had it explained to me a million times," and so we were like, it's like when you don't want to say something really mean, but you should say something really mean. And just like one of those things. And the funniest thing happened is because they don't have big cars in Ireland. All their cars are teeny tiny compared to the United States. And honestly, you wouldn't be able to get around in a big car because their roads are pretty narrow and their parking spots are pretty small. But so my daughter was having her wedding, and we were trying to help out by like they'd rented a bunch of stuff for the wedding, and they needed to go back, and we had this teeny tiny little car, and we had that thing packed. It was completely packed up. We'd been working for hours to pack it up, and then the uh, and then we were inside. We had just packed it up. We were in there chatting with the Irish employees of the hotel slash castle. It was like a real castle, and um, we were just just talking about that, and we were actually talking about the bless her heart thing, and uh, one of my daughter's bridesmaids came down with this big long thing, and she was just like, "Oh yeah, Anna needs you to take this back to Dublin with you." And everyone just got quiet because they knew that we were all stressed out about how the heck we were fitting everything. And it just got so quiet. They were all just watching me and my wife for our reaction, and we were all just like, and I just went, "Oh, bless her heart." And oh man, everyone just busted out laughing because it was the perfect application of that phrase. Um, because like I didn't want to cuss her out because it was my daughter having. I didn't want to say anything bad about her because it was my daughter having, her wedding and all that. Um, but boy, had she gotten us good that time. But anyways, I think this is amazing. I love it. I love it so much. I had so much fun playing around with Russian. Um, if if I hope somebody else downloads this code from GitHub and gets it running so they can play with it too. Um, I probably won't go ahead and upload it and put it anywhere publicly available until we get the continuous, well, the API and the continuous tabs working, and then I think we'll be good to go. And I'll just upload it somewhere so that anybody can just play with this and do whatever they want with it. But anyways, everybody, that was awesome. 150. Happy coding all. Bye.